So for me, so excited to hear about 100% fill rate. Please get your notebooks out, team. There will be an exam question. So yeah, really excited to hear Dane talk about 100% fill rate. I think that is the nirvana, isn't it, in recruitment, is actually to think about always filling those roles with the right quality and ideally diverse talent as well. So it feels sometimes like an uphill struggle, but Dane is all over it. So we're going to hear now from Dane. So over to you.
This is how we do it. This is how we do it. Na 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 na. It's Friday, right? Red Rag Fest day. We're gonna smash the talk away. That's enough from me. That's my nose gone. Right, everybody. I am Dane Fox. I've been in the recruitment for forever now, like 7 or 8 years. Yeah, but I tell you what. From those 8 years, I feel like my career has been fast-tracked. I've worked in some of the toughest sectors going, some of the meanest bosses right over there. My former one, Gemma, my inspiration. Nah, she's a babe. Right, so I've worked in manufacturing, leisure, retail, and then also most recently healthcare. So I've just joined Bupa. I've been there week number 4, so this talk isn't reflective of my experience there. So I'm going to be taking them on a journey, but I previously came from Nuffield Health. So my talk is about helping everybody achieve a 100% success rate. Who here wants to get a 100% success rate? Go on, put those hands up in the air. Come on, you all want to get 100%, yeah? It sounds like an aspirational title. I'm not going to lie. However, if you follow these 8 pillars, I think that are crucial in the recruitment process, you can achieve a 100% fill rate, if not close to that. But I'm not going to put a timeline on it. So, the 8 pillars in recruitment, if you want to take notes down, so it's hiring manager collaboration, and which ultimately results in a seamless candidate experience. The second one is using recruitment technology to effectively empower your recruitment process. The third one is probably my biggest one of all, which is ED&I, so equality, diversity, and inclusion. It's a bit of an extra caveat to that, which we'll go into, and it's all about belonging. The fourth one is going to be around changing your recruitment process from a reactive to a proactive function. The fifth of that list, if anybody's taking notes, is going to be around fixing that leaky bucket. So it's working with the business in order to fix the retention issues, because let's face it, if you're always recruiting, you're constantly going to be recruiting if you don't fix that bit. Using data to explore and using data really to look at the gaps in your recruitment process and empowering those. And I'm a bit froze. But yeah, I'm gonna go into my talk right now. So, hiring manager collaboration and result in a seamless candidate experience. Who here has heard a hiring manager say, "This is how we've always done it"? Montel Jordan. This is how we've always done it. We don't need to change anything. Come on. Can I get an amen? Can I get a hallelujah? Whoop, whoop. Well, basically what you need to do is build your relationship with your hiring manager. Put yourself in their shoes to understand their world. Sit in with their interviews. When you're taking recruitment briefs, actually asking them the right questions, sending them a recruitment brief beforehand so you can spend that precious time with them to actually get the most out of that experience. Actually sit in there with the actual employees, your colleagues, and actually get in their point of view so you can write bespoke job adverts that's going to reflect the brand. And then when you're pre-screening candidates, you know exactly what you're talking about. Working with the hiring managers, and you can emphasize the importance of the candidate relationship. So for me, there's 3 pillars. There's nothing more important than that candidate experience. Second to that is the hiring manager experience, and then we unfortunately sit at the bottom as the recruitment experience. Everything needs to be in mind of that candidate. So when your hiring managers are interviewing your candidates or meeting them, you've given them a great experience because you love recruitment. Whereas with the hiring managers, some of them would be like, "Oh, but they need to work for us." It's a candidate-led market. More and more, it's the power's in their hands. They're applying for multiple opportunities. So your hiring managers, working with them, you can identify, you can set things out from the offset, i.e. taking the brief to getting that first stage interviews in their diary way in advance when you take that recruitment brief so you can slot them in. And guess what? If you get close to that date, you can push that back, and every hiring manager loves it when you give them extra time. So straight away, you've got bam, 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 done. Right, the second thing for me, so using recruitment technology to empower your recruitment process. So I strongly believe in this. I am all about cheesy expressions, by the way. So you are either controlled by the technology or you control the technology. Can I get an amen? Yeah. So what I mean by that is, like, for instance, TikTok, social media. Before you know it, you're sucked into a black hole. That's an invaluable opportunity, isn't that right? Yep, so if you create the right content, you've got your audience, hook, line, and sinker. When you're using recruitment technology such as interview scheduling tools like Calendly, candidates can book themselves into interviews. How amazing is that? Using the right ATSs, for instance, that are going to be able to make that candidate experience more empowering than ever. So I could go into detail. I love RecTech. There's lots of talks about that today. So then the third one, diversity and inclusion. There's been a lot of talk about this. However, for me, personally, diversity and inclusion isn't just about the colour of your skin, your race, your religion. It's about how you think. It's about how you feel. It's about how you belong. These days, because of COVID especially, it's more and more about how we feel going into the workplace, even remotely, and how we connect, rather than sometimes the money. It's the purpose, the value. And if you work with a different and diverse team, you're going to grow. You're going to grow tremendously. You're going to be reflective of your demographic. I've never lived in such a diverse country before as I have in the UK. I've lived in New York, I've lived in a few places before as well. I love England for that. So your business needs to be reflective of that. So in terms of like neurodiversity, for instance, there's many tools out there that can support your, that can support your recruitment process. Like Recite Me, for instance, people with dyslexia, when they're applying for your roles, things like that, that can actually communicate to the candidate what's on that screen. Okay, the fourth pillar, EVP, an employer brand. So you either have an EVP or you don't. And if you don't have that, where do you start? It's a bit daunting, it's a bit scary. But I tell you what are your visions and values for your business? How do you want that your business to be known out there? And then create personas for that. You can identify with your community, what do your candidates want from a business? Mirror that. What do your employees feel their business, what are they proud of about your business? And then you can create employee personas that you want to target for certain roles. So you can create EVP champions that are going to reflect that on social media. You can give them the content or they can create that. They can do like Instagram live stories. They can do TikTok. They can do all sorts. So that is the EVP side of things. I could go into that in more detail. And then you've got the retention situation. So retention in recruitment, especially in healthcare recruitment, is probably the number one biggest challenge. Because I would say about 25% of clinicians leave in their first year of being in the business, which is crazy. So in terms of retention, when you're taking the hiring manager brief, you need to understand what are the biggest issues, what are the biggest challenges, what can we do to solve that, to fix that issue? Are we hiring the right people? Are we assessing them properly? Like, is it a skills base? I've heard this expression many times, but hire on attitude and behaviors, otherwise you'll end up firing on skills. The skills can be developed, but attitude and behaviors innate, and it's inbuilt. It can develop over time, but then also that's going to truly reflect the kind of company you want to work for. So that's why I love the healthcare recruitment industry, because it's all about that patience and the care for them. Okay, so the next bit I'm going to talk about is using data, following the data. So for me personally, I hate quantitative measures like KPIs, time to offer, time to fill, all the traditional ones. Do we all agree that we hate those? Like, Dane, how many interviews have you lined up this week? How many CVs you sent across? I'm not being funny. I'm not an agency. If I wanted to, I'd go work for an agency. I might do pretty well with my 100% success rate. I'm actually just going with the flow now. So So yeah, but for me personally, it's the qualitative measures, okay? So it's that everything goes back to that candidate experience. So CSAT scores. So actually putting like I don't know, like Survey Monkeys in the end of every email. Actually having conversations with your candidates once you've placed them after 3 months. Encouraging your teams and your employee workforce to go onto the likes of Glassdoor, Indeed, and leave reviews. I want to see everything from the good to the bad, so we can use that to shape our recruitment team and how we do things. For me personally, when I'm speaking to candidates, I'm Dane Fox, the brand. Job titles are all right, but it's that connection. If I don't feel that person's right for the business, or it's not going to promote their careers, otherwise I would have poached them in the field health people to come to Bupa. Then I want to. I want to put them in the best place where they're going to develop, and naturally people will fall suit, and people get buy into you. People believe you when they do that as well. Right. Okay. So I believe that's 6. This is so I'm really grateful for you all being here today. By the way, I really am. It does mean a lot.